I never thought I'd bury my own boy's future with a single phone call. But that's exactly what I did the night he signed away my life's work to those blood-sucking vultures he calls in-laws. 20 years of sweat, deals in smoke-filled boardrooms, and dodging IRS audits like they were drive-by shootings, all for a sprawling villa on the cliffs of Big Sur that should have been my sunset sanctuary. Not some trophy for his trophy wife's greedy folks. And when I stormed up there, pounding on the door like a repo man from hell, he didn't even flinch, just cracked a beer and drawled, "Dad, it's business," as if betraying your old man was just another line item on the spreadsheet. But the real gut punch? It wasn't the theft. It was remembering that rainy night in '03, when I took the fall for his screw-up, falsifying records to cover his embezzlement for my company, rotting in county lockup for 6 months while he skipped off to Stanford on my dime. Family first, I'd whispered to myself in that freezing cell, convincing the judge it was all me. Now, here he was, flipping the script, and I was the fool left holding the empty deed. That laugh of his echoed in my skull like a bad acid trip as I peeled out of the driveway, tires spitting gravel like accusations. Revenge isn't a dish best served cold. It's a slow roast inferno. And by God, I was firing up the oven. The villa wasn't just bricks and ocean views. It was my goddamn monument. I'd clawed it out of the dirt back in the 90s, when Silicon Valley was still a bunch of garages and wet dreams, flipping tech startups like pancakes at a county fair. Emery Hargrove. That's me, self-made king of the coastal elite. Or so the Forbes knockoff mags like to puff. Big Sur's cliffs were my kingdom. That Spanish-style beast with terracotta roofs and infinity pools that made you feel like you could swim straight into the Pacific. I built it for legacy, for Jake to inherit when I kicked the bucket, maybe raise his kids there with stories of how Grandpa turned nothing into an empire. Jake was my golden boy. Or at least that's what I told myself through the whiskey haze. Born when I was barely 30. Him the spitting image of his mom, blonde curls, blue eyes that could charm a rattlesnake. She bailed when he was 5, chasing some surfer poet to Maui, leaving me to juggle board meetings and Little League carpools. I overcompensated. Sure, private schools, summer camps in Aspen, that first Porsche on his 16th. You're my blood, kid, I'd say, clapping his shoulder after every touchdown or A+. We stick together, no matter what. By his 20s, though, the cracks showed. He interned at my firm, LoveRevengeX, fresh out of college with an econ degree that screamed entitled, sharp as a tack, but lazy, like he thought the world owed him for showing up. That's when the money started vanishing. Petty cash at first, then client escrow accounts. I caught wind from my CFO, a grizzled vet named Marty who chain-smoked camels in the parking garage. "Boss, it's the kid. He's skimming like a pro." I confronted Jake in my office, the one with the floor-to-ceiling windows overlooking the bay. He slouched in the leather chair, smirking like I'd accused him of jaywalking. "Dad, it's loans. I'll pay it back." Lies. All of it, 5 figures gone. Poof. Into his poker nights and that coke habit he swore he'd kicked. The feds were sniffing around, one audit away from cuffs. So I did what any father would, what any desperate father would. I cooked the books myself, pinned it on a ghost vendor, took the plea deal. 6 months in San Quentin's low-security wing. Minimum wage job waiting tables on release. Jake? He got a tearful hug and a tuition check for Stanford. "I did it for you, son. Don't make me regret it." He didn't. Not right away. Graduated top of his class. Landed a gig at Goldman. Married that Ice Queen socialite. Lila Vanderbilt. Old money from Connecticut. The kind that reeks of trust funds and quiet racism. Her parents, the Vanderbilt Sr., were the worst. Harlan, a silver-haired shark who brokered arms deals under the table. And Evelyn, a Botoxed viper who chaired charity galas while dodging alimony whispers. They hated me from day one. New money trash. Harlan called me at the wedding. His breath like aged scotch and contempt. Jake assimilated quick, ditching board shorts for Brooks Brothers, calling me Emery instead of Dad in front of them. But I let it slide. Family, right? Until last month, when the mail brought that notarized deed transfer. My villa, deeded to Harlan and Evelyn as a familial gift. Jake's signature bold as brass, right next to the forgery of mine. He'd hacked my estate planner's files. I later learned, bribed the notary with crypto. The ink was barely dry when I got the eviction notice, couriered by some smirking process server in a Prius. I drove up the Pacific Coast Highway that afternoon, knuckles white on the wheel of my '68 Mustang, the engine roaring like my pulse. The villa loomed at the end of the private drive, gates ajar like a taunt. Music thumped from inside, some yacht rock playlist. Steely Dan mocking my misery. I barged through the foyer, marble floors echoing my boots, straight into the great room where they lounged, Jake and Lila on the sectional, Harlan puffing a cigar by the fireplace, Evelyn scrolling Zillow on her iPad like she owned the joint. Which, apparently, she did. What the hell is this? I thrust the deed at Jake, my voice cracking like thunder over the waves outside. He glanced up from his phone, that same smirk from 2 decades back. Lila tittered. Harlan chuckled low. Dad, Jake said, unfolding languidly. It's done. Harlan needed collateral for a deal, something big in renewables. The villa's prime real estate. They'll flip it, invest the proceeds. Win-win. Win-win. I laughed, bitter as bile. That's my house, you ungrateful prick. I built this. For us. Evelyn arched a perfectly plucked brow. Emery, darling, legacies evolve. Jake's one of us now. Her tone dripped condescension, like I was the help. Harlan stubbed his cigar, rising like a judge. Boy's got vision. You clung to this relic. We're modernizing. I rounded on Jake, grabbing his collar. Silk. Of course. After everything, I went to jail for you. Jake. Covered your ass when you nearly tanked us. His eyes flickered. Guilt? Nah. Calculation. He pried my hand off, smooth as a used car salesman. Ancient history. Dad. And hey, it's theirs now. Then he laughed. Not a full belly laugh, but that sharp bark, like I'd told a half-decent joke at Thanksgiving. The room spun. Lila's gasp was performative, Harlan's nod approving. I backed out, the ocean mocking me through the glass walls, endless, indifferent. In the car, engine idling, I smashed the dash until my knuckles split. Not from pain, but the realization, this wasn't theft. It was erasure. And I was done being the patsy. That night, in my shitty motel off Highway 1, smelling of mildew and regret, I cracked open my laptop. Revenge wasn't about fists or lawyers, it was chess. And I'd been playing checkers. First move, dig. Jake thought he buried the past. But San Quentin taught me patience. I had contacts, old VC sharks who'd owe me favors. Hackers from the dark web who moonlighted for whistleblowers. By dawn, files were flooding my inbox. Jake's offshore accounts, Lila's pill-popping prescriptions, Harlan's renewables scam, a Ponzi wrapped in solar panels, funneling dirty money from Gulf cartels. But the real gold? That O3 embezzlement. I'd scrubbed it clean, but Jake hadn't. Sloppy emails to a buddy, buried in his Stanford archives, admitting it all. Dad's taking the heat, suckers play. But hey, free ride. Proof. Leverage. I could have gone nuclear. FBI tip. Headlines screaming, Vanderbilt Scions fraud. But that'd drag me under too. Reopen my plea deal like a fresh wound. No. This needed finesse. Personal. Make 'em squirm in their own silk sheets. Week 1. I ghosted them. No calls. No texts. Let the silence fester. Jake pinged first. Dad. Come on. Let's talk. Ignored. Then Lila. Saccharine. Family dinner? Deleted. Harlan's lawyer sent a cease and desist for harassment. I framed it on the motel wall, next to my war plan scribbled on a napkin. Week 2. I struck soft. Anonymous leaks to Harlan's competitors, enough to spook his investors. Tank a merger. Shares dipped 8%. He blamed market jitters, but I saw the sweat in his LinkedIn post. Jake started calling daily. Voice edging panic. Emery. This villa thing. We can work it out. I let it ring. Sipping black coffee. Plotting the board. By week 3, I was back in the Bay Area. Crashing at Marty's garage apartment. Cigarette burns on the couch. But loyal. Marty, bless him, pulled strings at the county recorder's office. Turns out, Jake's forgery was amateur hour. The notary recanted under pressure. Swearing coercion. Deed in limbo. But I didn't file yet. Timing's everything. The hook sank deeper when Lila cracked. Drunk dial at 2 a.m. Emery. He's losing it. Harlan's cutting him out, says Jake's unreliable. Please. For the family. Her slur hid fear. I could hear pills rattling in the background. I hung up, heart twisting. Was this revenge or just poison? Jake was still my boy, warped as he was. But then I remembered that laugh, echoing like a death knell. Decision time. Controversial? Hell yes. I drove to a storage unit in Oakland, unlocked the padlock on a life I'd buried. Inside, the original ledgers from '03, my falsified signatures staring back like ghosts. Destroy them, and Jake walks free forever. Burn the bridge, expose him, and watch the empire crumble, mine included. I sat on a milk crate, lighter fluid ken at my feet, flames dancing in my mind. Family first or self first? In the end, I pocketed the ledger. Not for mercy, for the kill shot. The plan crystallized over bad takeout lo mein. Marty across from me at a Formica table. Grease stains mapping our strategy like a war room. You sure? Boss. This could nuke everyone. His eyes. Bloodshot from 40 years of loyalty. Searched mine. I nodded. Fork spearing a noodle like an enemy. It's not about the villa anymore, Marty. It's about the lie. He thinks he can rewrite us? I'll author the epilogue. Phase 2. Infiltration. Jake's weakness was ego, always had been. I leaked a rumor through back channels. Emery Hargrove's staging a comeback. Poaching talent for a disruptor fund. Bait. He bit within days. Email from his Goldman alias. Heard you're back in the game. Coffee? Old times. We met at a Marina District spot. Overpriced lattes and harbor views that screamed money laundering. Jake slid in. Armani crisp, but shadows under his eyes like bruises. Dad, Emery. Look. The villa. Harlan pressured me. Lila's pregnant. Needed the security. Pregnant. The word hit like a sucker punch. A grandkid. My blood. Collateral in this shit show. I masked it with a sip. Voice steady. Security? By screwing your old man? Classy. Jake. He leaned in. Conspiratorial. It's temporary. Sign off on the transfer clean, and I'll buy you something better, Malibu. Maybe. Dad. We're family. There it was, the flip. From laughter to pleading. Schemer to supplicant. I almost bought it. That boyish tilt to his head. But I saw the tells, the Rolex glance, calculating escape routes. Family, I echoed, sliding a folder across. Photos, Harlan shaking hands with cartel suits in Miami. Timestamps matching the Ponzi inflows. Jake's face drained. Milk pail. Where'd you? Doesn't matter. You want family? Earn it. Ditch the Vanderbilts. Get me my deed back. He snatched the folder, stuffing it in his briefcase like contraband. You don't get it. They're in deep debts. Favors. Crossing them means war. Then war it is. I stood, tossing 20s on the table. Your call, son. He didn't call for a week. Radio silence, thicker than fog off the bay. I used it to burrow deeper, hired a PI, ex-cop named Ruiz, who tailed Lila to discreet clinics in the valley. Not pregnant. Hysterical pregnancy. Doctor's note forged for sympathy points. Another layer peeled. Jake's marriage. A house of cards. Meanwhile, Harlan's world wobbled. My leaks escalated. SEC whispers. Anonymous tips to the Journal. His renewables fund hemorrhaged. Investors bolted like rats from a yacht fire. Evelyn went public on Insta. All stiff upper lip posts about resilience, but Ruiz snapped her lunching with divorce attorneys. The viper coiled tight. Jake resurfaced at my motel, unannounced, pounding the door at midnight. I let him in, room reeking of takeout and tension. He paced, wild-eyed. No suit, just jeans and a Stanford tee. Like regression therapy. Okay, Dad. You win. I talked to Harlan. Deeds reversible. But he wants a sit-down. Neutral ground. Trap? Maybe. But the hunger in his voice, desperation masked as olive branch, tugged. Why now? Because. He stopped, deflating onto the bed. The O3 thing. I know you covered. Marty slipped, said you kept the ledgers. If this blows, it all unravels. Us. Everything. Vulnerability. Rare as a clear conscience in this family. I sat beside him, the mattress sagging under our shared weight. Then why steal from me? Laugh it off. He rubbed his face, stubble rasping. Lila. She hates this place. Says it's tainted, your new money vibe. Harlan dangled the villa as dowry. Basically. I thought. Leverage. For once, I'd be the provider. Not the kid in your shadow. Shadow. The word stung. Truth wrapped in excuse. Had I eclipsed him? Pushed too hard? Loved too possessively? For a heartbeat, sides blurred, me the overbearing ghost, him the cornered son. But then I recalled the notary's tears, bribed and broken. Leverage, I spat. You forged my name.
Jake.
That's not shadow, that's grave digging. He nodded.
Broken.
Fix it? Please. The sit-down was set for a Sausalito boathouse, neutral. Harlan insisted, with lawyers on speed dial. I arrived early, Mustang tucked in the lot, nerves jangling like loose change. Ruiz tailed, parked discreet. The boathouse creaked over the water, salt air thick, gulls wheeling like witnesses. Harlan and Evelyn first, stepping from a black Escalade like royalty slumming. He in linen, her in pearls, both radiating frost. Emery, Harlan boomed, handshake bone crusher. Let's bury this hatchet. Family squabbles. Evelyn air-kissed. Perfume choking. For the baby. Baby. The lie grated, but I played along, nodding to the folding table where the deed waited, pristine white. Jake pulled up last, Lila on his arm, pale, clutching a Chanel bag like a shield. We sat, circle of vipers, small talk skimming like oil on water, weather, stocks, the miracle pregnancy. Then Harlan slid the pen. Sign. Emery. We transfer back. Clean slate. Jake stays in the fold. My hand hovered. Victory? Or fool's gold? Jake's eyes pleaded, son. Not schemer. But something itched. Lila's fidget. Evelyn's smirk. I signed. Flourish bold.
Heart pounding.
Cheers all around, forced. Brittle. Harlan clapped my back. To empires. Wine poured. Glasses clinked. But as Jake hugged me, whispering thanks, Dad, Ruiz texted, Escalade's wired. Feds inbound. Harlan tipped, panic surged. Harlan's grin widened, predators.
Oh.
Emery. One more thing. He nodded to Evelyn, who tapped her phone. Audio crackled, my voice. From the motel hidden cam Jake must have planted. War it is. Followed by ledger scans. Oh, 3 confessions digitized. You son of a, I lunged. But Jake held me. Face ashen. Dad. Wait. Harlan laughed. Harlan's laugh, cold. Triumphant. Insurance. You poke the bear. Emery? Bear bites. Sirens wailed distant.
Closing.
The flip, Jake hadn't flipped. He double-crossed. Feeding me to the wolves for absolution. Or survival. Lila bolted first. Heels clicking retreat. Evelyn followed. Cooing bye-bye. Harlan lingered. Savoring.
Villa's ours again.
Permanently. I wrenched free, bolting for the door, water lapping below like accusations. Jake grabbed my arm. It wasn't me. Harlan, he knew about the leaks. Forced my hand. Liar? Truth? His eyes. Wide with something raw, fear, remorse? No time. Feds swarmed the lot, badges flashing. I shoved him off, diving into the Mustang, peeling out as spotlights pinned me. Chase through Sausalito's twists. Heart in throat. Radio blaring pursuits. I lost them in the fog, ditching the car in a vineyard, hiking to a burner phone. Call to Marty. Burn it all. He knew ledgers, files, the works. Digital pyre. But as dawn broke over Napa Hills, wine country mocking my flight, doubt gnawed. Had Jake sold me out? Or was he puppet too? The pregnancy lie, the desperate plea, cracks in the facade. And me? I'd lit the match. Controversial arson on my own foundation. No heroes here. Just survivors clawing dirt. Hiding in a flea bag in Fresno. I plotted phase 3. Not destruction, dissection. Expose the rot. Let it consume itself. But first, answers. I needed to see my boy's eyes. Unfiltered. Fresno was purgatory, dusty motels. Farm trucks rumbling like judgments, air thick with almond rot. I holed up in room 7 of the Desert Rose Inn. Blinds drawn against the relentless sun. Nursing a sprained ankle from the vineyard scramble. Feds plastered my face on CNN. Fugitive financier in Family Feud. Tabloids ate it up. Villa Vendetta. Father versus son in Coastal Crime Saga. Public split down the middle. Me the vengeful dinosaur. Jake the ambitious heir. Or Harlan the snake. Us underdogs. Social media boiled. Team Emery trending with memes of me as a grizzled Clint Eastwood. Justice for Jake countering with sob stories of toxic dads. Marty smuggled supplies. Cash. Fake ID. Emery Harlan. Irony's bite. A Glock I'd sworn off post-Quentin. Ruiz says the boathouse was staged, he muttered. Unloading groceries. Harlan's play. Tip the feds to smoke you out. Scare the leaks quiet. Jake's clean. For now.
Clean.
The word festered. I stared at the burner. Thumb hovering over Jake's number.
Call.
And risk the trace. Ghost. And lose the thread. Dawn's third day. I dialed. Voicemail, his voice. Polished. This is Jake Hargrove. Leave a legacy. Legacy. I growled into the beep. Yours ends if you don't meet me. Midnight. Bakersfield truck stop. Come alone. Or the ledgers go viral. You're fraud. My cover. All of it. No more shadows.
Click. Wait.
By dusk. Paranoia clawed, shadows lengthening like nooses. I slipped out, Glock tucked in my waistband, driving a lone Civic to the stop, neon buzz. Semis idling like beasts, air greasy with fries and diesel. He showed solo. In a hoodie and rental Hyundai. Eyes darting like a cornered fox.
Parked beside me.
Engine off. Silence stretching. Finally, he slid over. Door creaking.
Dad.
Jesus. You look like hell. Feel like it. I didn't hug him. The air crackled. Electric with unsaid talk. Boathouse who flipped. He exhaled, fogging the glass. Harlan. All of it. Knew about your digs weeks ago, had me tailed. The deed reversal?
Bait.
Wanted you discredited. Out of the picture. Lila's not pregnant. That was his idea. To humanize us in the press.
Us.
Still aligned? My fist clenched. Knuckles whitening.
And you?
Laughed in my face. Forge my name. For what? Daddy-in-law's nod. Jake's face crumpled. First real crack.
I panicked.
The villa was leverage. Yeah, for a divorce. Lila's hooked. Dad, pills. Harlan's enabling. I needed out.
Clean break.
Thought if I controlled the asset.
Divorce.
The twist uncoiled slow. Not betrayal for gain. But escape.
Jake.
Scheming not to climb. But flee. My rage deflated. Balloon pricked. Why not ask? I'm your father. Not the enemy. You? After '03, he laughed. Hollow. You owned me, Dad. That cover-up? It wasn't mercy, it was chains. Family first meant your rules, your debts. I laughed because freedom. For once.
Chains.
The mirror cracked me, the architect of my own prison,
Projecting onto him.
controversial truth. I'd built the monster. Overprotected till he snapped. Sides, blurry as fog. Him wrong for the theft. Me for the smothering. Sirens wailed distant feds. Harlan's goons? No time. Then end it, I said, shoving a USB drive his way. Final files. Ponzi proofs. Evelyn's affair docs with the pool boy. Ruiz's coup. Leak this. Anonymously. Bring him down. Get your life. I'll take the heat again. But this time, choose. He pocketed it, eyes wet. And the villa? Burn it if you want. Or keep it. Doesn't matter.
Just. Live.
Son. He nodded, throat working. I'm sorry.
Dad.
For the laugh. For everything. Prove it. I clapped his shoulder, echo of old days, then slipped out, melting into the trucker crowd. Heart heavy, but lighter somehow. Revenge? Not sweet, but necessary surgery. Back in Fresno.
Pre-dawn.
I watched the news unfold. Jake's leak hit like a nuke. Journal expose. Vanderbilt empire. Cartel cash and family lies. Harlan arrested at dawn raid. Handcuffs on marble steps. Evelyn shrieking to reporters. Lila checked into rehab. Public mea culpa. The villa? Seized as evidence. Auction pending. Jake vanished, off-grid. Whispers of Vancouver. No calls. But a postcard arrived weeks later. Big Sur Cliffs. Blank but for coordinates to a safe deposit box. Inside, my original deed. And signed. And a note. Yours. No chains.
G.
Feds closed in that month. Plea bargain. House arrest in a Reno condo. I watched the trial from afar. Harlan's empire dust. Jake's silence a benediction. Happy ending? Debatable. I got the villa back. But echoes lingered. Betrayal scar.
Forgiveness itch.
Was Jake redeemed? Or just surviving? Me a hero? Or enabler edicts? As I stand on the cliffs now, waves crashing judgment, I laugh soft, private. Not at him, but us. Flawed Americans. Chasing horizons. Burying ghosts. Legacy? It's in the ruins we rebuild. Or don't. The end? Yours to argue.